I have a question regarding how to find a balance. Since today's theme itself is how to find your balance. So, on the one hand, in this today's society, which is largely competitive, and everywhere we could see competitions, and everyone is going and running after their to chase their success and chase their deadline and so on. And on the other hand, we have something more important, that is we need to be more contented, and we need to be satisfied, and not to be our primary mind, not to be influenced by those negative mental dispositions. So my question to Khenpo is how to get a balanced approach between those two contradictory way of living.
I don't have any experience, I'm not talking from experiential point of view. And also I have, but yeah, in today's society, the competition is always there. And also discrimination is going to be all the time there, because as long as everybody becomes very compassionate and loving, as I said, unless everybody's practicing those, it's quite difficult, right? But I think one thing that we have to remember is we cannot change everybody. There are countless people, it's too much, right? But if you change yourself, your own mindset, because that's why, again, Bodhisattvas are using it. There is a very wonderful classic kind of quotation. It says, if you wish to cover the whole surface of this world by leather so that nobody will step on toes, how can I get that much leather? However, if I cover my sole of the shoes by leather, then it is equivalent to cover the whole surface of this world with leather. With that in mind, I think as long as you are contented, your mind, you can work on your mind, as I said before, the taming your mind, but your mind can be powerful. Your mind has a limitless potential. So you should never be satisfied with your own mind, like how much progress you made. You can always aim for the perfection of it, right? However, you should also be careful at that time. You should be also compassionate with your own self too, But compassionately using your own mind up to the level of what it is possible, right? Then you don't have to look at other people. You cannot compare. You shouldn't compare with other people. When you are satisfied with your own self, then that's good enough for you, right? So otherwise, as long as you are not like aiming for the perfection of Buddhahood, it's always like subjected to other kind of comparison. So yeah, this is what I would say. Like you have to compete yourself with your own kind of capacity, but not other people.
Thank you very much. I have a next question,
Okay.
taking this opportunity. So I have seen around my work area where I was working as a metropolitan government judicial facilitator. So at that time I saw growing number of frustration among the people, especially those who do not have a simple conception of the law of causality.
Yes.
Lately,
Yeah.
So they just get frustrated because those people who are doing something negative to the society, like robbing, stealing, and those things, right? So they tend to be tend to become more successful for the time being, there are those who are very much humble and sincere, and seeing that, many people get frustrated. So, how or what do you recommend, or how do you advise to those people who get frustrated out of those kind of things?
So now we are getting a more deeper kind of level of different things, right? So believing in law of cause and effect is the most, I think, important for our own growth, for our own future. Because we say that, for example, even if you can hide some illegal things from the police of this world, there is the other police always watching. You cannot escape from that. You have to have that kind of notion. So that's why, you know, sometimes like I like this Indian kind of tradition that say, oh, even if someone finds somewhere money or something like this, they never feel that this is mine. They really want to give it back, saying that I want to earn my own money. You know, this money I did not work on. How can I use this? You know, I think that kind of things is already a deeply rooted this kind of notion of law of cause and effect. But those who do not have, that's what they engage in, different kinds of illegal things, and then they think that there's no other retribution, right? This is it. And then I think many of these are basically like do not have a concept of next life, previous life, and this life. This is it. In this life, whatever I can do, if I can escape from it, then that's it, right? So it's very dangerous, because then you are not taking responsibility of your own self, because you are now on the wrong path. And these people also, we cannot really teach them, you know, like unless you are very skillful, because there are many ways of doing it. Of course, skillfully you can, particularly if you're working with those people, and maybe slowly, like not using jargon words or technical words, or like for Buddhists say this one, Buddha say this one, or in Buddhism we have this, not using those, because Buddhism, after all, is not just a religious thing, it's a scientific thing. So we don't have to use the technical word, but convey the message in a different way by using everyday language. And so then, you know, you may be able to help some people in that way, at least sharing some of your wisdom, knowledge, and maybe, you know, who knows, like they might get also quite, you know, something out of it. So other than that, yeah, it seems like, yeah, those who are into wrongdoing kind of succeeds as it appears, but actually not. When deeply thinking, yeah, I have seen that too. Also, but if we follow the rules, law accordingly, those people are always kind of left behind. Those who are a little bit kind of aggressive and do not care about certain things, maybe lie and maybe make different kinds of things, they get succeeded for the time being, as you use this term also. I also want to use that. For the time being, yes. But it's other, you know, police is waiting.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. I want a question. You say that the alaya is neutral.
Neutral.
And almost all the things that we do, that almost the people make, is neutral too. In all the day, almost all the things that the people make are neutral. What is the difference about the neutral things that we do and the neutral of Alaya?
No, this is neutral. Neutral is equality, right? The nature of the other is neutral, I said. But also, we engage in 3 different kinds of things. Virtuous action, non-virtuous action, and neutral action. And so the reminder for ourselves is to be aware. To be aware of how much of our time, how much of our living kind of time is spent on neutral activities, right? So remember in our meditation practice, guidebooks, where it talks about transforming neutral deeds, everyday neutral deeds, into virtues or the positive deeds, then we will be rich. For example, starting from our everyday life, early morning, we get up. Of course, unless you are always like a negative or always very, very virtuous person, usually when we wake up, our mindset is neither in positive like a virtuous or negative non-virtuous. It's in the neutral. Similarly, when we get up, we go to the bathroom, we are not thinking about anger or jealousy or things like that. At the same time, we are also not thinking, most of the time, not thinking about generosity or loving kindness compared, but we are just doing our own thing, right? That's also neutral. So when we try to evaluate ourselves that way, I think 24 hours of our life, many of these times are spent on neutral. And those neutral can be transformed into positive or virtuous action by just changing our mindset, just putting some kind of intention, motivation into it. Early in the morning, for example, in these practice texts, it says like you have to first, when we wake up, we have to be thankful. Right? I'm not there. How wonderful, I have another day chance for me to be able to practice Dharma and for me to be able to enjoy this beautiful human life, and I have the opportunity to help sentient beings or at least give some help to whoever needs help today. And for example, then again I also say I'm given this opportunity of not being dead, means I have now all the chances for me to be able to accumulate more merit, at least today, right? So when you have from the beginning, early in the morning, when you have this motivation, then all day long, whatever you engage in of these neutral deeds, I think all of them will be transformed into positive deeds. So then, as it is said, then when you calculate it, if you are able to do it, then you will be rich, right, in terms of accumulation of virtuous actions. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ebola, for your talk.
Yeah.
So, Ebola, you mentioned about Vipassana retreats and meditation and mindfulness, and I think that we all know that in Buddhism meditation is very important, And I was wondering if you could explain to us how can we start meditating in our daily life. Like, most people have very busy schedules, so how can we start meditating and implementing it in our daily life, please?
Yeah, meditation is the English word we use, right? This is the loan word. And also it's not a word that is generated after Buddhism and Hinduism can come into being. Because you know, the original meaning of the English word meditation, I still don't know. But what is emphasized, what is recommended all the time, what we are supposed to be doing as a Buddhist practitioner is, in Tibetan word is Gom. Because there's a Tösam Gomsum. This is what we have to do in order for us to be able to practice Buddha Dharma. Then we have to engage in these three things: Tö, Sam, Gom. So Tö means you have to study, you have to listen to the teachings. Listening or study includes your own kind of study, homework, and listening to the teachings by relying on a teacher. All of these are Töpa. And then after you study whatever you on your own, or you heard from teacher, studied with the teacher, then you have to contemplate on your understanding now, in order to confirm what you understood through the study remains in your mind by contemplating on it, reviewing it, going through this again, and that is called Sapa in Tibetan, right? Contemplation. Thinking. And then third one is the one Gom. Now Gom is now in a modern world, it's by using English language, it's called meditate. So I don't know whether that really conveys meaning or not. In Tibetan word Gom, I think in Sanskrit it's Bhavana, right? Bhavana. And which means really getting used to it. You have to familiarize yourself with that kind of activity or the practice or the thing that you do. Because doing it one time is not going to be enough. You have to do it again and again and again so that you become very good at it. You become accustomed to it. Familiarizing yourself is the one that is called Gom. So Gom, and by Gom, by doing the Gom, Tibetan word Gom, then the result is going to be Khom. Okay? Meaning familiarizing yourself, then you become familiarized. Or maybe the thing that becomes familiarization, kind of a familiar field. That is the aim of Gom. And whether that is conveyed by the English word meditate or meditation, I don't know. So I have some doubts, okay? So the main thing is, doing it again and again. And particularly, like now, I think going back to that, reason why we have to do it again and again, because it will not stay with us if you don't do it. So that's why you have to repeatedly do it, and that is called Gom. Gom, 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 And it doesn't have to be long time. And also it doesn't have to be one particular place where there's no sound or nothing like that. I think real thing is, this Gom also requires concentration. Because when you are not practicing, which means that you are out of the concentration. But the concentration has to be with you anytime you want to concentrate. So that's why mindfulness is the one that reminds you to concentrate. Because otherwise you will lose your concentration. You are off concentration. So in order to bring yourself to the one-pointed object to which you want to actually focus, then you have to come to it again and again. So that is called bomba, boom. Right? So yeah, then we have to do, and then for gong, there are two things, shine and hakong in Tibetan, right? And then in Sanskrit it's shamatha and the vipassana. Okay? And nowadays these Goenka or all these, they kind of use this vipassana. But I think the training really first one must be trained is the vipassana, the shamatha, shine. Shine means remaining in tranquility, remaining in peace. Shiva nepa in Tibetan. Shiva means peace, right? Shiva. And ne means remaining or abiding. Abiding in tranquility or in peace. So that is lacking right now because our mind does not remain in peace. Our mind is, so that's why Mijus always call it a monkey mind. It's always jumping around, it doesn't stay. So it requires a lot of training. The shine, shamatha. And after, because every gong, every kind of practice needs this concentration, shine. Because if your mind does not shiva nepa, if your mind does not remain in tranquility or peace, then you will fail in practice. Practice comes later, after. First, you have to have a control over your mind. Because when you when you are able to control your mind, then you can place your mind anywhere you reach, if you are able to do that, right? Without that, that's called that monkey mind, then it jumps around and you don't know where your mind at the moment is. So that's why shine is the most important one for practice. And after, when you master the practice of shine, okay, then you can go to the next vipassana or hakong. Hakong means that hakong is really like talking about the wisdom, penetrated wisdom. Actually, is the hakong tongpa. And again, going with the word itself, the Tibetan word hlaktong. Hlaktong means hama. Hama means extra. Something extra. And tong means seeing, right? Seeing something extra meaning seeing something that you never saw before. This time you saw something extra. Something that is the first time you are seeing it. And that is equivalent to enlightenment. Not perfect enlightenment, but enlightenment. Very first experience of a super mundane experience. Up until then, all the things, even however many of positive and virtuous things are happening, but still it is all mundane experience. The super mundane is this one, the first time, penetrated wisdom or hlaktong. But hlaktong is equivalent to tongnam. Tongnam is the path of seeing, because the Buddhist path is categorized into 5 different paths.